Welcome to The Awakening, Black Women United. I am your host, Sherry Daney. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I go upload a new video. South Africa versus Israel and the argument of genocide. Picture this: the International Court of Justice, the world's top court for disputes between nations, has just issued a monumental ruling. It involves the state of Israel, South Africa, and the contentious issue of genocide. This court, a bastion of justice nestled in The Hague, Netherlands, has recently been the stage of a highly significant case. Brought forward by South Africa, the case revolves around the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip. In a move that has drawn the world's attention, the court has ordered Israel to take action to prevent acts of genocide. In other words, Israel has been instructed to ensure that none of its actions in the conflict-ridden Gaza Strip fall under the definition of genocide as outlined by the Genocide Convention. The court's decision echoes concerns raised by South Africa, which has alleged that certain actions and omissions by Israel in Gaza could potentially violate the provisions of the Genocide Convention. This is a serious charge, and one that the court has not taken lightly, urging Israel to preserve evidence related to any allegations of genocide. In addition to this, the court has also called on Israel to take measures to improve the humanitarian situation for Palestinian civilians in Gaza. However, it's important to note that despite these significant orders, the court stopped short of demanding an immediate ceasefire. Why, you might ask? Well, Israel has argued that an immediate ceasefire would allow Hamas militants to regroup and launch new attacks on the country. It's a complex situation, to say the least. The court has also expressed grave concern about the fate of hostages held in Gaza, urging Hamas and other armed groups to release them without any conditions. This ruling is indeed groundbreaking, and it marks a significant moment in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. It sends a clear message to the world about the importance of preventing genocide and ensuring humanitarian aid for civilians caught in the crossfire. So what did the court exactly rule? Let's delve deeper into the specifics of this groundbreaking decision. Welcome to The Awakening, Black Women United. I am your host, Sherry Daney. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I go upload a new video. The court's decision was not taken lightly. It was a complex ruling with several critical components. One of the key orders was for Israel to refrain from any acts that could potentially fall under the Genocide Convention. This means, in essence, that the court demanded that Israel ensure its troops commit no genocidal acts in the Gaza Strip. The judges noted that some of the actions and omissions alleged by South Africa to have been committed by Israel in Gaza could potentially be classified within the provisions of the Genocide Convention. This was a significant point made by the court, highlighting the gravity of the allegations brought forth. In addition to this, the court required Israel to prevent and punish any public incitement to commit genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. This order extended to preserving any evidence related to allegations of genocide in the area, highlighting the court's intent to hold any potential perpetrators accountable. Beyond the issue of genocide, the court also ordered Israel to take measures to improve the humanitarian situation for Palestinian civilians in Gaza. This directive emphasizes the court's concern for the welfare of civilians caught in the crossfire of the conflict. Despite these orders, the court did not demand an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, a move that Israel argues would allow Hamas militants to regroup and launch new attacks. This aspect of the ruling has sparked considerable debate and further underscores the complexity of the situation. The court also expressed grave concern about the fate of hostages held in Gaza and called for their immediate release without conditions. This shows the court's focus on human rights and the preservation of life in the midst of conflict. The court's ruling was vast and encompassing, but what stands out is the lack of a call for an immediate ceasefire. Now let's consider the judges' stances on this ruling. With 17 judges making the decision, you might wonder if they were all in agreement. The answer? Not entirely. This monumental ruling, as you might expect, drew varying responses from the judges, reflecting the complexity of the issue at hand. The majority, however, did agree. At least 15 out of 17 judges voted in favor of imposing the provisional measures. This majority included the court's president, Joan Donoghue of the United States. Their collective decision underscores the gravity of the situation in Gaza and the necessity for immediate action to prevent further potential acts of genocide. But not everyone was on the same page. Judge Julia Sebutinda of Uganda was the sole voice to vote against all 6 measures adopted by the court. Her dissenting vote is a stark reminder that even within the highest echelons of international justice, there can be differing perspectives on how best to address such intricate issues. Israel's ad hoc judge, Aharon Barak, also held a unique position. He voted against 4 of the measures, but his stance wasn't purely oppositional. In a statement explaining his vote, he wrote, "I have voted in favor in the hope that the measure will help decrease tensions and discourage damaging rhetoric." His nuanced
Fellow South Africans, earlier today, the International Court of Justice in The Hague in the Netherlands issued a ruling that is a victory for international law, for human rights, and above all, for justice. This follows the unprecedented action taken by South Africa to take another country to the International Court. On the 29th of December 2023, South Africa filed an application instituting proceedings against the State of Israel for the violence it has unleashed on the people of the Gaza Strip, arguing that Israel was in breach of its obligations under the convention. South Africa had earlier condemned the 7th October 2023 attack by Hamas and other groups that resulted in the deaths of many Israelis and the taking of hostages. The court, in its judgment, affirmed South Africa's right to take Israel to court, even though it is not a party to the conflict in Gaza. The ICJ, as the principal judicial organ of the United Nations, has handed down a ruling that the State of Israel should immediately implement a set of provisional measures to prevent any further acts of genocide in Gaza, and to desist from such acts and to take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence relating to acts of genocide. As the South African government, we welcome the decision of the International Court of Justice. We note the court's statement that it is acutely aware of the extent of the human tragedy that is unfolding in the region and is deeply concerned about the continuing loss of life and human suffering, and that the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip is at serious risk of deteriorating further before the court renders its final judgment. We welcome the measures that the court ordered by majority decision, ruling that the Israeli military should not commit acts of genocide against Palestinians. Israel should take all measures to prevent and punish incitement to genocide. Furthermore, it should take immediate and effective measures to allow basic services and humanitarian assistance in the form of food, medication, and other basic necessities to Gaza, and it should also preserve evidence of what is happening in Gaza. And lastly, it should submit a report within a month on all measures taken to give effect to the ICJ order within 1 month. This order is binding on Israel and must be respected by all states that are party to the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. We expect Israel, as a self-proclaimed democracy and a state that respects the rule of law, to abide by the measures handed down by the International Court of Justice. After more than half a century of occupation, dispossession, oppression, and apartheid, the Palestinian people's cries for justice have been heeded by an eminent organ of the United Nations. Today, Israel stands before the international community, its crimes against the Palestinians laid bare. Since October last year, the people of Gaza have been the victims of bombardment and strikes from...
The viewpoint highlights the delicate balance that the court had to strike in this case. The judges' stances were not merely a matter of legal interpretation, but also reflected their individual perspectives on the broader implications of the ruling. They had to consider not just the immediate situation, but also the potential long-term effects on the parties involved and the wider international community. In the end, the majority ruled, leading to this momentous decision. But what does this all mean for Israel, South Africa, and the world at large? This monumental ruling has far-reaching implications that extend beyond the courtroom. With the ICJ ordering Israel to prevent acts of genocide and improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza, the nation's actions will be under close international scrutiny. This isn't just a warning to Israel, but a message to all nations, asserting the power of international law and the Genocide Convention. For South Africa, the initiator of the case, this ruling is a victory, demonstrating their role in holding nations accountable for potential human rights violations. The international community, too, is given a renewed sense of hope in the power of legal institutions to mediate and prevent atrocities. However, the lack of an immediate ceasefire order might raise questions about the court's ability to enforce immediate peace. This ruling, though monumental, is not a magic solution, but a crucial step in a longer journey towards justice and peace. Indeed, this ICJ ruling is one for the history books, a landmark decision that will undoubtedly shape international relations and law for years to come. This has been The Awakening, Black Women United. I am your host, Sherry Donnie. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I go upload a new video.